and praise you too. Your grace and mercy, oh Lord, all you do. Thank you for saving a sinner like me to tell the world salvation is free. There were times when I just didn't do right. But you watched over me, morning and night. Your grace brought me through. I live in this moment because
Grace and mercy brought us through. You heard me singing?
I heard us
There is no shower in the studio. There is no shower in the studio. Fans and viewers on Instagram, I want to welcome our fans and viewers on JIS's Facebook page and YouTube page. I also want to welcome our supporters and fans on TikTok. I want to say good morning, Minister.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Good morning to Minister Fayval Williams. People have been demanding Fayval. We want. So finally, by popular demand, Minister. Good morning, Minister. As usual, I do not start with the business. I start with the personal. I fasten our business. Minister Williams, people say you go to a good high school. Is that true?
Absolutely.
Which high school is that?
Ferncourt High School.
Ferncourt. Where is Ferncourt?
Claremont, St. Anne.
But Minister, the cool place that man went.
Cool.
Yes, that place is not cool.
No, sir.
You
no,
sure?
Sir. No.
Where you fall? No,
I don't remember it as being cold when I was
so you come from country?
I come from country. I come from Ty Dixon,
Bush,
St. Catherine.
Country bush. You come from
all the people who know about Ty Dixon, St. Catherine, are the people who live there.
Ty Dixon. Where's Ty Dixon though?
All right. So a landmark would be Worthy Park Sugar Estate.
Yeah.
It's about 5 miles north.
Right.
Of Worthy Park Sugar Estate.
Worthy Park.
Yeah.
But Worthy Park, no rum, them make up this so.
Yes.
Minister, you drink rum? Or you drink wine?
I drink wine.
Oh, you're a sophisticated lady. So tell me, Minister, you were born in Ty Dixon. And
yes,
when you come on this show, we don't just want people to hear about how much teacher you hire and all of that. We want people to have an understanding that there's a human being behind the minister. There's a person, a warm-blooded person who has family, who had a life before. You're new to politics, aren't you?
Relatively, if you think that I entered politics in 2016.
That was just the other
day.
Years
before that, so relatively speaking.
So what did you do before politics?
Oh, gosh. Primarily in the business world. After graduating from high school, Ferncourt High School, I went to work for one of our national banks, and stayed there for 3 years and went off to do further studies in the United States. Started out first with liberal arts at a community college, and I moved up from there to Harvard University.
You went to Harvard?
Yes, I did, in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Oh, but Minister, you're one of the bright ones. You used to do your homework on time, not you? Fully bright, of course. So, Minister, you used to do your homework on time. You always...
Absolutely. I was always... I am embracing that. I was always into my books. Just totally.
So what is your favorite subject, Minister?
Finance.
Finance, maths thing now?
Yes, any figures you put in front of me.
So that's why them can't go around, don't you? You ever notice when minister talk and them can't go around minister with the numbers, you know? So minister,
yes.
Before you entered politics, right? You went to university, you went to Harvard, and we have to pronounce it properly. And then what?
Then after that, I went to Wall Street. Straight
Wall Street?
Yes.
No, sir.
But it was in the information systems world. At the time, I worked with one of the
Wall
top.
Street? You were working at Wall Street?
I worked at one of the Wall Street companies.
You want to learn?
Yes. Which one? Morgan Stanley.
Morgan
Stanley. Yes.
I'm going to say, I'm not for sure, man.
And then after Morgan Stanley, I went to business school at the Wharton School of Business. At the
Wharton is one of the hardest places to get into.
Pennsylvania. Yes.
How you get into Wharton, Minister?
Hard work, good recommendations.
Harvard, Wall Street, Wharton Business School. But Minister, how did you end up in politics?
How?
That one I kind of baffling now because, well, I mean, what I know, Harvard, Wharton, Wall Street, JLP, I can see the connection. So, Minister, how you left from, because you could have get any job anywhere in the world, how you end up?
So it was in business school, at Wharton Business School, that I met my husband.
Oh.
Yes, the story come to bump, right? So I met him there. We got married. We moved out into the Midwest to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Had a child there. And then my husband decided that he wanted to come back to Jamaica so badly. He's Jamaican. And he left here when he was 6 years old. His parents lived in the United States for his entire life, but he was always so captivated with Jamaica. He wanted to come back so badly. And we decided, yes, we're going to come back to Jamaica. And of course, when I got back here, where did I land? In the financial sector here in Jamaica. That gave me a good insight into the economy of Jamaica. If you recall, I was on another radio station as well, talking about global markets and helping to help Jamaicans understand what was happening in the financial markets around the globe. One thing led to another. Would you believe it? I became the president of my community association.
You mean where? You mean up in St. Andrew there?
Yeah, someplace up in St. Andrew. And through that, I actually met the then member of parliament, Mr. Bartlett, not the current one, but his brother, Bartlett.
So you represent Eastern St. Andrew,
yes,
which is where UWI is, which is where UTEC is there, Papine. What is it like though? Because you have some really rough areas in that constituency, not true?
Yeah, absolutely. When people look at St. Andrew Eastern from the outside, they see the Mona Heights, they see Hope Pastures, they see Long Mountain, they see Beverly Hills. They don't see the other parts of it, which is about 60% of the constituency.
And you have JC in your constituency as well?
JC, Mona High.
You support them for the Costa Cup or you don't support?
Of course I have to. Come on.
Be careful, not everybody support JC. The St. George's people are upset right now.
But you know what, too? Kind of more seriously, in my constituency, I have the largest population of persons with disability, both in terms of students attending institutions there, as well as persons living in the constituency. We have schools like Lissamere Gilby, high school for the deaf. You have the Danny Williams Primary School for the deaf. You have Carberry Court. You have Hope Valley Experimental. You have Mona Rehab. You have School of Hope.
So you have a lot of schools that
and you have a whole community called Cheshire Village, where adult persons and their families live. So if you hear me talk a lot about inclusivity in education, it's coming. It's coming from there.
So let us get down to to what the people want to talk about as well. What is your biggest achievement as Minister of Education?
Well, when I started out in September 2020, we were in the throes of the pandemic. When I got to the ministry, school was delayed. It's tradition that school starts the first Monday of September. School was delayed. There was great anxiety. It was a period in which there was great unknown. And we had to just quickly coalesce around what are we going to do. We're in the midst of the pandemic. It wasn't safe for our children to come back out to school. What are we going to do? And, after just meeting with all the technocrats at the ministry and asking questions about what do we have? What can we do? I realized that we could pivot to the online space very quickly. And I recall being on an interview in another station, won't call their names, but our large stakeholders were saying, we're not going back to school. We're not sending our children back to school. And the interviewer turned to me and said, well, Minister Williams, what are you going to do? And I said, we'll pivot to the online world. And we did. We launched a massive campaign to get devices into the hands of students.
When you say devices, what do you mean?
Like this one, you have computers, tablets and laptops.
How many of them did you get, you think?
Oh, wow. At the end of the day, I'm sure we were well over 100,000. And we rallied.
100,000
And
tablets.
we rallied the local community, businesses, individual persons. We rallied the diaspora, and the tablets and laptops came pouring in to our children.
So you had 100,000 tablets, but how did you get them to the students?
Oh, geez, quite easy. Through e-learning, through National Education Trust, and of course, individually, persons went out, parents, guardians, and so on, went out and bought these devices for their children to allow them.
So how you know that the kids got the tablets?
Oh, because we were teaching online school. And so we know how we tracked on a weekly basis how many children were actually signed on to their online school. But it was more than that, children that signed on. So privately, people gave their children tablets as well, because remember, we have 400,000 or so students in our primary and high school, and way more than 100,000 was online. So you can see
how many
support.
children you said are in school in Jamaica right now?
If you look all the way from early childhood
to
all the way through
either going to school or getting ready to go to school.
Every weekday morning.
And how many teachers do you have?
At last count, the number was kind of approaching 27,000.
27,000 teachers, 600,000 students. How many schools, Minister?
1,010 primary and secondary schools, and then add on top of that another 2,000.
So about 3,000 schools.
Yeah.
And
it's the education sector is massive in Jamaica.
So tell us.
Yes.
Because a lot of people don't understand how the system is managed. How is the Ministry of Education run? Is you who do everything?
Oh no.
People make it seem, that if something happens, is the minister do it?
No, we do have about 15,000 administrators across the ministry, not only in Kingston, but across our 7 regions. We've divided up Jamaica into regions. So region 1 would be Kingston and St. Andrew. Region 2 would be St. Thomas, Portland. Region 3 would be St. Thomas, Portland, St. Mary, then St. Anne and Trelawney, and then you can go around the island in terms of
so you have 7 regions, right? And each of these regions is headed by who?
A regional director, and below them they have education officers.
So it's like 7 mini Ministry of Education.
And at the regions they do have their headquarters there. They have financial persons, they have administrative
So, Minister,
persons.
why the teacher them pay always late?
It isn't always late.
But that's what people say. Them say it
no, it isn't always. I know during when we got the word about the compensation review, the settlement there, as you can imagine. Remember when we got the word from the Ministry of Finance? It was late into March.
Right.
And
So does the ministry pay every teacher or
no? Central Ministry,
which is Ministry of Education,
pays about 16,000 teachers.
So that is the burst of them
who pay the teachers. So Central Ministry would send